Today I want you to rewind your mind back to November 2013, more specifically, late November 2013, when the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One both released a mere week apart, kickstarting the next generation of console gaming. Sony released the PlayStation 4 into the wild, having learned from the mistakes it made previously with the PlayStation 3. The price point wasn't unreasonable, Sony wasn't overly arrogant about what they had, and their messaging was as succinct and as clear-cut as they come. The PlayStation 4 was dedicated to video games. Microsoft, on the other hand, did the exact opposite. They doubled down on Xbox One being an all-in-one multimedia machine, focused its entire operation around a less than capable Kinect, and hoped that people would soon replace every device in their home with their VCR-sized box. The reason Xbox existed in the first place, the games, well, they seemed like a bit of an afterthought. In fact, Microsoft even tried to kill off the pre-owned games market in one fell swoop, having every one of its games encrypted with DRM, meaning it was a one-use only type deal. That meant no tradings and no sharing games with your friends, a feature PlayStation openly mocked, and one that was soon backpedaled by Microsoft.
Thanks.
PlayStation.
This muddied and unclear Microsoft messaging, entwined with the more expensive price tag, meant one thing. The Xbox One jogged gently out the gate at a steady pace, whilst the PlayStation 4 rocketed out, leaving its biggest rival to swallow the dust it left in its wake. Fast forward to today, and that initial shaky start for Xbox One can still be felt throughout the industry. The PlayStation 4 is currently sitting at a cool 69 million units sold through to consumers, whilst the Xbox One is sitting at just over 34 million. Of course, 34 million units doesn't exactly mean that the Xbox One is a complete failure. In fact, the combined sales of these two consoles and the speed at which they have racked up those numbers actually makes this the fastest selling console generation to date. Although we know who's doing all the legwork there, don't we? Yet to be outpaced by your biggest rival at a ratio of 2-to-1, even 4 years later, must be a little bit of a blow for Microsoft. Now don't get me wrong, Microsoft have been making a discerning effort in that time since launch to course correct the fate of the Xbox One, and get it back on level pegging with PlayStation 4. The latest iterations of their hardware have been turned into something mighty impressive. Both the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X have made significant improvements from the original Xbox One. The former makes a bit of a power leap, offering the option for some 4K upscaling. That's the fake 4K, I think. The fake one, I don't know. Whilst the latter makes a huge jump in offering true 4K capabilities that even rival some high-end PC gaming rigs. Both have even made a huge aesthetic change, with the S actually having a sense of style, and the X packing so much power into such a tiny box that it beggars belief. Even the Xbox One controllers rule the roost, easily outclassing any other standard console controller on the market. The base model is a sturdy, far more accurate and much more ergonomic controller than the DualShock 4. Plus, Microsoft offer up a full customization of those base models through their Xbox Design Labs, letting players paint some personality onto their controllers, something that is quite enviable. Even outside of their hardware, Microsoft are making the right moves when it comes to branding, messaging, and community outreach. Full backwards compatibility with Xbox 360 games and programs like Xbox Game Pass, the upcoming subscription service that gives you access to over 100 titles and actually lets you download them, unlike the clusterfuck that was PlayStation Now, all preach a testament to this point. It's as if Microsoft have finally started listening to gamers, offering them things of real value, things that many have requested for a long time. What this produces then is a perfect foundation for a console, one that should be far more competitive in the market than it currently is. Quite interestingly, throughout all of this Xbox rejuvenation, Sony has made continuous cock-ups with the PlayStation 4, like hiking the price of PS Plus for no fucking reason, blocking access to cross-platform play, and actually charging you real-life money for games like Life of Black Tiger. Yes, this game you can buy on the PlayStation. What the fuck, Sony? Yet, PlayStation remains atop the Iron Throne. It still sits as the ruler of Westeros, whilst House Microsoft tries its hardest to restore peace to the Seven Kingdoms. Sorry, I've been watching a lot of Game of Thrones recently. And the reason for PlayStation's long reign isn't a hard one to figure out though. Despite their lackluster hardware, waning respect of the gamers who made it so popular, and a slow but sure return of that PS3 arrogance, Sony have done one thing that's kept the consumer hooked. They have been consistently giving us a reason to buy a PlayStation 4. Initially, that reason was price point. At launch, it was 80 quid cheaper than the Xbox One, giving you the same experience and a bit of extra cash to buy some games with. Then the launch of PlayStation VR presented another reason to buy a PS4, with the combined cost of both units severely undercutting the price of any VR competition, and making the point of entry for VR a little more palatable. It was a move that paid off too, with Sony reporting last August that their year-over-year sales had increased by 5.4% in part due to PlayStation VR. Meanwhile, Microsoft did nothing. Then there is the steady stream of exclusive titles Sony has been publishing for PlayStation 4, titles that have been received both critically and commercially well. In both 2016 and 2017, Sony had Uncharted 4 and Horizon Zero Dawn chart in the top 10 selling games of their respective years. And that is a trend that doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon, with the likes of God of War, Spider-Man, Days Gone, Death Stranding, The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and Detroit Become Human all having been announced as exclusives for PS4. Meanwhile, Microsoft has done nothing. In fact, since release, the Xbox One has only had 30, yes, 30 exclusive games. That's both released and unreleased. Whilst the PlayStation 4 has had 126 exclusives in the same time frame. So, Microsoft, do you see where your console may have fallen a little bit short? Where it may have taken a slight misstep? Sure, what you have as a device is brilliant. That's undeniable. It is an incredible piece of machinery on multiple levels. You quite literally have the best console hardware available right now. But one thing you don't have, one thing you are so desperately missing, is a tangible reason for anyone to buy it. Take your new flagship console, for instance. Your pièce de résistance, the Xbox One X. It is a feat of console manufacturing. An incredibly capable device that blows all of its competition out of the water. So, what games do you have launch with it to show its utter brilliance? You have a very okay racing sim where the rain looks a bit nice in the right lighting, and Super fucking Lucky's wanky tail. I mean, really? Really? Is that what you thought would push units? It seems that after all those returns to the drawing board, all those new initiatives, Microsoft still don't get it. Sure, they've made some wonderful moves in making their platform the most gamer-friendly, but the most gamer-friendly and business-friendly thing they could have done, get some exclusive fucking content, Microsoft have no interest in. And all you have to do to prove that is just look at their biggest draws for 2018. Their focal points for the year, their flagship products to encourage consumers like myself to buy into an Xbox One are Crackdown 3 and Sea of Thieves. Yes, a game that looks like it's found itself in the wrong fucking generation, and an overhyped co-op game that Microsoft, for some strange reason, seems to be hinging its entire fiscal year on. It's ludicrous, insane almost, that a video game console manufacturer doesn't seem, from the outside at least, to understand that in order to be competitive, in order to be successful, you have to make games. Games that are unique to your product, to draw in the consumer. Otherwise you end up so far behind the pace, so far back in the pack, that the likes of Nintendo, who are the great fucking joke of the industry for so long, are nipping at your heels after just 10 months on the market. But then again, I suppose Nintendo get it, don't they? They have a console that is underpowered, that is a bit of a gimmick, and has got some god-fucking awful controllers that give you arthritis after about 20 minutes. But you know what else they also have? That one thing that makes people yearn after their console? Appeal. And that is something that Microsoft certainly do not have with the Xbox One, but desperately need to find in the coming years. And that's it. That's short thoughts for this week. My slight bashing of Microsoft and their treatment of the Xbox One. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't hate the console. I'm not here trying to start a flame war or add fuel to that console war that's kind of died down a little bit in recent times. I just think that Microsoft have got this wonderful console with these wonderful ideas, but no reason for anybody to buy into it. And I want them to have a reason. I want them to give me a reason to buy an Xbox One, because I desperately want one. I want the controller. I'd like the controller for my PS4, but that's not an option, is it? Anyway, what do you think of the video? Do you think Xbox One is being mistreated by Microsoft? Do you think actually it's alright, it's a decent console, there's enough on there for you? Come and let me know in the comments down below or over on Twitter at DarylDoes. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and if you hated this video, well, give it a thumbs down as well. It all fucking helps. So, until next time, my friends.
Try to relax your anus.